So shared services is to be, shared across the organization, but has to feel like my services. That's what every business says. I want the service to be mine, and we make it shared and scalable. And digital, we want to make sure that it's at scale, deployed at Mars, and unlocking value for the organization.
Welcome to Technovation. I'm your host, Peter High. My guest today is Marina Bellini. Marina is the president of global services and digital technologies at Mars, a roughly $50 billion revenue business with a diverse portfolio of pet care products and veterinary services, as well as snacking and food products. Marina has been in her role for roughly 6 months now, and in that role, she oversees operations, global business services, and enterprise digital technologies. Prior to her current role, Marina was the chief operating officer of Itaú Unibanco, Latin America's largest bank, as well as being the CIO and CDO of British American Tobacco. Marina, welcome to Technovation. It's great to speak with you today.
Thank you so much for having me, Peter. It's a pleasure.
It's my pleasure. Well, let's begin with your business, if you don't mind, Marina. Talk a bit about Mars' rather diverse set of businesses at scale. Talk a bit more about the business, if you would.
Oh, yes, with pleasure. Again, it's an amazing business that I'm getting to learn in my first 6 months here. As you said, very diverse across different industries in the pet care world, veterinary services, pet food and diagnostic services, and then in the snacking world, chocolate, confectionery, gums, and a food and nutrition business, and spanning across many different markets, over 70 markets across the globe. And we Martians call ourselves associates. So over 150,000 associates day in, day out, trying to create a better world for pets, trying to bring happiness into people's lives and nutritious food into people's table. It's pretty an amazing business. It's in the fifth generation of the Mars family, with really, really a serious commitment, to the long term. And me just joining now to try to make the next, over 100 years of this amazing organization.
That's a great overview. Thank you so much for that, Marina. And talk a bit about your unusual title. You are the president of Mars Global Services and Digital Technologies. Talk a bit about the two sides of your responsibilities, if you would.
Perfect. So first time in my life that I'm a president. So I find it interesting. But the business in a way that I run, it's part of every business in Mars. As I explained before, Peter, this is a multi-business organization, very, very diverse, and not only diverse in industries, as I mentioned, but there are businesses that are billion-dollar brands, a business that are very nascent, very innovative, very like startup mode in the different industries that we belong. But there are two things that we say, doesn't matter which type of business, which size of business, how mature the business is, are going to be always the same across Mars. One of them is our culture and our principles. And again, being here for a bit over 6 months, those principles are not just written on a wall, on our website, if anyone wants to go there and see, but they're lived day in and day out. And this is something that I had the opportunity to visit the Mars Museum in my first week here, and they were really over 100 years ago. So it's really, really something that doesn't matter which business you're in, which country you're in, this is Mars. And Mars Global Services. So different business, different levels of maturity, different sizes, but there are things that we should be leveraging this scale of this amazing enterprise and be able to create those capabilities in a way that makes it much easier and much more value creation for business across our organization. So this is the Global Service Organization doing technology service, technology application support, technology development, data capabilities, automation capabilities, but also transactional process, financial process, procurement process, HR process, laboratory services, legal services, and the list goes on. We're going to continue evolving as the business grow. We look for what are the opportunities that we have to leverage the scale of Mars with the standard service, but at the same time, how do we understand what is different and specific for each business is different than to serve one of my, consumers in one of our retail stores than is to serve a pet parent visiting one of our clinics. So then I need to be able to tailor the service that is also specific for that value creation opportunity. So that's global services, and we can talk a little bit later about the mission that we have on taking something that has been there for over a few decades, and what is the next evolution of this organization. But my second organization is the digital technology organization. I think that most people here will be very familiar with that covers all the transformation digital data initiatives that we have across the organization, and also the just keeping the lights on and making sure that we are running our services in compliant ways, secure ways, and very stable ways across the organization. And we just run a few days ago a benchmarking on our responsible AI practices, and this came really, really high in the chart, because first we decided to do something right, and then we go exactly about on what we're going to be doing. So this is part of the core of how we run business in this organization. So shared services is to be shared across the organization, but has to feel like my services. That's what every business says. I want the service to be mine, and we make it shared and scalable. And digital, we want to make sure that it's at scale, deployed at Mars, and unlocking value for the organization. So this is the remit that I have the pleasure of continuing the journey that others that came before me started, and have great opportunities ahead.
Amazing, broad responsibilities, as you noted. I'd like to understand a bit more about how your team, is organized across the various areas that you just described. It's you mentioned, an enormous organization, generally speaking, many different businesses across it as well. How do you organize your team to have that blend between the standards that you want to set, while also allowing for some flexibility representative of the different offerings that you have, for example?
Yeah. So another say that we have here is that people in MGS and DT, they wear many badges. They have the MGS badge, they have the DT badge, but they have the snacking badge, they have the veterinary service badge, they have the food and nutrition badge, and they have the pet nutrition badge. So we need to make sure that our organization, even when we're leveraging service across different teams, that is having the sense of belonging for each of the teams that we are serving at that point in time. So we organize our teams at scale by capability, but we also make sure that our teams are facing, interacting, and feeling what are the opportunities, the challenges, and the issues that we have across the organization. So hope to be always a good balance on being, high in business acumen, but high in expertise, right? We know, right? In technology, running cyber services, in technology, running data service, in technology, deploying new digital products and platforms. You need a really high level of expertise in the organization, but I will make sure we balance that with high business acumen. So we have both setups inside of our organization, and we want this to feel transparent for either our people that decide to have a career on a very specialized way, but also our people that want to be closer to the different business. And it's amazing how we have people, that have been here for many years, that have been across all the different businesses in Mars, people that have super gone deep in one specialty or art that we have inside either digital technology or shared service. And I think that's the commitment that we have with the organization. We're going to be always a specialized team, but we're going to make sure that the business acumen is super high inside the organization.
Something you mentioned to me previously was that in an organization as diverse as yours, the glue in the organization is, the way you put it, was culture, principles, but also the MGS function. And talk a little bit about that. I think it's a fascinating way to think about things, that yours as an organization, together with those other very important pillars, in ensuring that there is still a one Mars perspective as well, a glue applied across a diverse set of organization like yours.
Exactly. And it's a mission that we take very seriously. So I learn with people that have been here before me, and I take the torch forward. That is, you are Martian. We call ourselves Martians here. What does it mean? It means to have the same culture, the same principles, and to leverage the same shared service organization. And part of the opportunity that we have is both on process and technology, as I said. So part of the opportunity that we have is that this business starts as, the legacy consumer goods business, pet nutrition, and, chocolates. It has been evolving a lot across different businesses and industries, but also in different sizes of how we make ourselves presence in the original, categories that we operate. Therefore, how we continue evolving shared service, that we're going to be a fit for those different types of organizations that we have here. So I think we feel excited when we find something that we can standardize, but we also feel excited when there's something that we can tailor and make that unique difference in terms of value creation for a specific business, for a specific market. So we are committed to being this glue that keeps, Mars, that makes Martians Martians together with our culture and our principles, but never losing sight that in the end, it is different to talk to a breeder, to talk to a vet professional than it is to talk to a consumer in a point of sales, buying M&M. So we want to be very conscious of the different business that we have, but the glue is there, and that's the role that we play for the organization.
You're also a big adherent to the product operating model, and I'd love to hear more about the value that you believe the organization derives in adhering to such a model.
Exactly. And this is part of the acceleration that, the team in digital technologies and myself together with the business leaders are deciding to turbocharge. So we really want to go deep on the platform and product model, because we went from experimentation to scaling up to now let's make sure we get value. And you only get value if you continue evolving your digital products. It's not about going to the next go live. It's about getting the products to evolve, version by version, and unlock value across the organization. And that's a big learning. I think, as we know, this is not just a change for the digital technology organization. This is a change for all the functions with whom we partner. We are getting out of the waterfall thinking on how do we bring change, transformation, life into the organization, to learn as we go, to experiment, to retrofit the process and bring the scale. So the scale is across the platforms that we have in the business. The products fit very well with our concept of tailoring where it makes sense for our business, but also how we learn as we go. So if we see, how the consumer goods industry and the pet healthcare industries is evolving in the last few years, very different where we were in the pandemic years, very different where we are now. How do we make sure that our digital products are fit for the moment that we have with our customers and end consumers and, pet parents? So it's a big mission that we have moving forward. So take the services beyond the legacy CPG business, but making a way that we are getting value out of our platforms by continuing evolving our digital products. It's a conversation that, many of us technologists have been on for very long. I'm excited because I get to experiment that now in the breadth, of business and process that we have here at Mars.
Yeah, I can hear the excitement in your voice as you describe it, certainly. I wanted to also ask you about your data program and the ways in which you are leveraging data and now artificial intelligence, GenAI, agentic AI. Talk a bit about that continuum of progress and how you're leveraging that at Mars, if you would.
Yeah, that's perfect. And I think I feel very proud of the work that the team did, before my arrival, really building on data foundations and analytics foundations. Coincidentally, I'm just preparing a presentation for our president tomorrow on where we are on the data AI, GenAI, agentic evolution. And first, I think on what some people call the boring side, and I call it again, the exciting side, is that with GenAI now that everybody wants to get something done, and we do get stuff done. I mean, we just got a beautiful prize in one of the first, marketing mass campaign leveraging GenAI directly with consumers, with stickers. But we get business leaders with the full realization on the importance of data. Right? Good data, good AI, bad data, guess what? And hallucination is nothing but bad data. So I think there is this appetite of the organization that has gone 10x into how we're going to get serious about the next evolution on bringing data with quality, to basic feed the models that we are running across the organization. I think this is one part of the evolution. With the concept of shared services, scarcity and resources on AI and Gen AI, are we going to build that in every single individual business that we have, or are we going to build that in a platform model that can be reused across the different business? So we have our Max platform, an open architecture platform on AI and Gen AI, that we have done a really, really nice job that I'm sure will continue evolving on, what makes sense to be leveraged, to be this glue across the enterprise, and what is specific for each of the problems. So if I have the tools, scan solution for pets, buying our pedigree product or Royal Canin products, I don't do that when people are, buying M&Ms in store, but I do have, the same video and image recognition contamination analysis when I am in my manufacturing side of my M&Ms. So what is this platform concept that can be reused across different products in the organization? So I think where we are in the data journey is pretty exciting because this organization took steps to work on foundations a few years, but now we are accelerating because the amount of use cases that we bring on AI and Gen AI to the organization is just exploding. And finding this good mix of where we are experimenting, where we are scaling up, and where we guarantee that we are creating value. I think in one of your conference, right, we discussed a lot about the importance of not necessarily just the number of use cases, but the fewer and the big, that really big impact into organization. 2 or 3 big cases that go into top line, 2 or 3 big cases that go into bottom line, 2 or 3 big cases, that go into innovation across the organization. I think that's what we are driving together with a different business leader. Just bear in mind when I say 2 or 3 is per business, and we have more than one business, so by itself is not that little. But I think the platform concept is really helping us accelerate. I heard stories of global companies, very diverse, before coming into Mars. Of we are going to have everything being different from one organization to the other, and I think here we are trying to find this good balance on leverage and speed, and the glue concept works pretty well in here.
That's fantastic. You alluded earlier to the fact that this is a family business, the 5th generation of the Mars family that is involved now. Talk about the nuances of working in one of the largest family businesses in the world.
It's the beauty of being absolutely committed to the long term. This is reality, right? So yes, we do care a lot about results. That's what keeps us, in business, in a family business, performing well. But generation 5, another 10 to come, another 20 to come, making sure that every decision we are taking for, the lens of this organization over many years to come, and mutuality being one of our key principles. How everything that we do is mutual to Mars and to our associates, to Mars and to our partners, to Mars and to the society. And that is something that is very present, again, back into Mars Museum, a concept that is from the inception of the organization. And yeah, family-owned business have to do that. We are not going to the market on this quarter presenting our results, although we do care about that. But the way we care is making sure that we are building for the long run. It's pretty exciting to be that. I mean, we are not in an easy year in the world, right? So a lot of uncertainties and a lot of things that can, turn business into short-term decisions. Definitely not something that we do at Mars.
What a luxury! Very interesting and well articulated. Are there any products that are your particular favorites these days, Marina?
So I have a dog. I have a dog, and she loves Greedies. So, and my family, that's a family of dentists, loves that she loves Greedies. And my kids, they have been, Mars fans way before me joining Mars, and M&M's is everywhere in this house.
Phenomenal. One of the fascinating aspects of you, Marina, one of many, is that you are truly a global executive. You've worked in a diverse array of countries: Brazil, Belgium, Mexico, the UK, of course, the US. What do you draw from across those diverse experiences that you think have kind of enhanced your current role? What do you bring from that knowledge of so many different cultures, in addition to so many companies that you've helped guide, that you bring to each of the roles that you go to?
Sure. We all have a basic experience, even if you have been only in the same country, Peter. So, but I think two things that I always try to keep in my mind, right? So I don't bring solutions into Mars now. I bring experience. So really spending the time to get to know the business, to get to know the people, to understand the past and the present before you start becoming part of the future. It is something that I really learn my way. Maybe first or second time, outside my home country, and being taken somewhere because I had the experience. You try to apply the experience you have, because you think that's what expected from you. And I think we need to apply the experience and shape solutions that will be specific to environment, even if we make change inside the same organization, even if it's inside the same country. But I think having move country together is shock that really it's not about the solutions you have, it's about the experience. And my team would agree with that because I get a lot of questions in what is the Marina way? How do you want us to do that? And I say there's no Marina way, right? There's the way that we decided to do it here, with a lot of respect for things that are established. It's not sake for change for the sake of change. It's because there's a reason for that. If not, it's for me to adapt. So I think those things I got scars from even before my professional career, getting to move and live in different countries as a kid. I'm still learning. 6 months, it will be years before I know more of what I need to know here. But I like that. I think this makes it good. It's a type of intellectual challenge that makes me really help engage with the organization and put the knowledge of very different pieces of the organization and our partners, so then we can build the solutions that make sense for each phase of the business that we are facing.
Well, your humility and your deference for those who came before you certainly comes throughout this conversation. I certainly admire that greatly, Marina. I wanted to also, as you look to the future, what other trends excite you? What are some of the areas, maybe beyond some of the things we've already mentioned, that excite you as you look to the future?
Oh, maybe too many. But think the spectrum, right? I think start for something that's very close to all of us, right? That's health. And here I'm talking about pet health and human health with the quality of food that we're bringing into it. So what is the role that technology is and can play in bringing additional services to our pets and our pet parents, and to the development of our new food and snacking solutions. So I think we talk about millions of data points that, again, excited leaders with AI and GenAI are working with us to make sure that they get organized in a way that it can be consumed and produce amazing sites. So I do think that first and foremost, if we're technologists, we're thinking how we improve the health of people and pets in this planet. If that one is pretty much north of what we are doing, and we have some cool cases already, live for that. I mentioned, the tool scan, and the poop scan. So, things that you just find ways that technology can really make a difference on very quickly running a diagnosis, in a pet, and those things can be, lifesavers. That excites me more than anything else. But then what is it that needs to be behind our, sales and marketing process, our supply process, our HI process, our financial process, to make sure that ultimately that beautiful business goal of making the world better for pets, bringing happiness to people and health food to people are good. And I think it's just amazing how with technologists we have more ideas than we can execute. And I think our challenge, and this gets excited and me to excite me, but also gets to worry me, are we prioritizing enough? Right? Because we cannot do it all, not just from a technology perspective, from, a process, people, change management perspective. So I get challenged. I think we have never been in an era where we had so many good ideas, and in a much easier and lower cost to make it happen, to bring life to the organization through tech and data. So learning new ways of making choices, so then we truly impact the business in the right way.
Well, very well said. I also before I let you go, wanted to ask if there's anything you've recently read, watched, and or listened to that you would recommend to others. What comes to mind, Marina?
Something that's is not and maybe is also work related. So I read a book, Anxious Generation, from Jonathan Haidt. And I have 2 teenager daughters, but also, right, we are marketing to consumers in the digital world, just understanding, what is it happening in the teenagers' life these days, and how are we preparing the future adults to, have brain space and practice, to focus, to concentrate, when you tend to be by milliseconds, receiving a stimulus to whatever you're doing during your day, spending 6-8 hours a day on social media. So it helps me, put some perspective on what is it that is working, and maybe we need to do different as a parent, but also as a technology professional.
A great suggestion. I'm an admirer of Jonathan Haidt's work as well. Thank you for suggesting that. Well, Marina, thank you also for a terrific conversation, emblematic of the remarkable perch you sit upon at Mars, the phenomenal work you and team are doing. Look forward to here only 6 months in to seeing the continued progress that you make. And I'm so grateful you would take time with me today. Thank you.
No, thank you for the opportunity, Peter. Happy to continue learning from you.